happy Friday, everyone tuning in here. I appreciate you guys tuning in on hopefully what will be a better Friday close than last week. $653 sitting on Tesla. Let me know if my audio is coming in clear. And I will read out some city, state, countries. If you guys want to share that in the chat, let's get it started. I see a bunch of people in here today. Paul, Rodfather, Steven, Paul, again, different Paul. Gio, how's it going? Nick, Sean, Sanju, Mimi. A lot of Juju Gang members in here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Clear, says Sean. Appreciate that. Awesome. So let's have a good stream. First of all, mandatory promotion. This video is sponsored by the subscribe button. Gently press that and we can get started. And so put out in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. And I've got a lot of Tesla related topics to talk about today, of course. We got Chicken Genius coming on Tom Nash's podcast talking about his view on Tesla stock and kind of the macro markets. We got options, a lot of options order flows to talk about, dark pool sentiments. We got Ron Barron actually giving his comments into CNBC as what he sees as a generational buying opportunity. So we're going to go through that video. We got a lot of stuff to do in this stream for the next hour. So I appreciate you guys tuning in on what is hopefully Happy Friday for you guys. Maybe a Saturday, depending on where you are. I got my first slice of Juju in. I'm going to save the rest for super chats as they come in. Okay. Yeah, don't unsubscribe. Awesome. Okay. Okay, let me read out some city, states, and countries. Stephen from Canada. Awesome. Local. Assen, Netherlands. Riverside, California. Norway, Denmark, Sweden. Tesla Economics says, hope your hip is better. I appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, my it's doing okay. I did some extra rehab exercises this morning, but if you guys don't know, you probably don't care either way, but my SI joints have been terrible from basketball. Eunice from Sweden. Digital from the moon, Florida man. Jamaica, Nuremberg, Germany, Los Angeles, Israel, San Mateo, Dubai, London, Katy, Texas, Minnesota, Switzerland. A lot of European friends in here. I love it. Sweden from the moon, of course. Illinois, Lathrop, California. Paul from Danbury, UK. How's it going, Paul? Singapore, London, Florida. Mars, shout out from Ontario. Corey, how's it going? Thailand, Holland, London, Fort Lauderdale. Basil, how's it going, my friend? Utah, Cali, Belgium, Seattle. Awesome. We got a worldwide audience in here today, as usual. It is. Utah. I feel so boring. Florida. Well, you know what? Hey, at least today, I went for a walk this morning, and at least it's sunny here in Vancouver. Our weather has been so crap in the last month, maybe 2 months, and it sucks because now it's supposed to be summertime. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to sunnier days coming up. Okay, so let's talk about some Tesla news, shall we? So first things first, $651 sitting on Tesla. Let's just do a quick synopsis of the week, shall we? So last week I talked about on the Friday stream, this is the weekly candlestick chart for Tesla, how I didn't like how Tesla broke the 100-week moving average. And that really puts the next weekly support, which is our 200-week at $405 on a weekly level. Now, the weekly supports, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find in the last 3 years, at least, in that bull market that we've been in, Tesla really breaking at all that 100 or what is this 50-week moving average. And when it did, let's say in May, obviously, I think we talked about it then, but from there, I thought we'd found some consolidation here at around the 100-week moving average. But it seems like a very daunting fall ahead unless we reclaim this 100-week moving average fast. Now, of course, 100-week moving averages, the reason why we look at moving averages is because stocks tend to trade from demand to demand or from supply to supply. And you can say institutional demand sits at a lot of these larger 200-day moving averages. But even 200-day moving averages in this market, it's a nothing burger because most stocks are trading well under the 200-week moving average already. And even the NASDAQ, right? If I pull up the NASDAQ, the 200-day, moving average for the NASDAQ is sitting at $355. $355. That's the 200-day moving average. Currently, the NASDAQ, the QQQ ETF, is sitting at 275. So we're well below that. So that's why we're kind of moved into weeks for the most part. Now, the good kind of news is the NASDAQ is sitting nearish support around 262. That's the, what is this, the 200-week moving average for the NASDAQ. So potentially we see some sort of support institutional buying there. But it's just been ugly all around. So I'm going to go back to the minute chart, and we'll talk about options here in a second. We'll talk about options here actually right now. So the options order flow is looking decent this morning when we saw a large divergence on the upside. And if I pull up just today's chart for the algo flow, it seems like we're kind of sort of flirting in that just general range. Now, one thing that's interesting is we saw about $20 million worth of calls bought, $26.37 million worth of deep in the money 392 strike for June of today expiring. Were bought about 10 orders of them. So not huge. We also got, and you guys know I like to sort by order size. We also got 63 and 99 orders of 650 strike calls, 660 strike calls, all for this week. And then for next week, actually for July, let me just sort this by premium for a second. For July 1st expiration, we got 730 strike calls, about 15 orders. So not a huge amount of orders, but still something to look at. And that's also coupled with 14 orders of 735 strike here, 725. So it seems like people are betting in the second half of June, Tesla jumping up past and over $700 again, which I mean, for the most part isn't, I'm not going to say it's a nothing burger, but it doesn't excite me as much as I know it probably should. So let me know what you guys think about that. So that 420 number again says digital. So let me know in the comments. Did you guys watch Chicken Genius's interview on Tom Nash's channel? Shout out to you, Ken, by the way. Open invite to come on the channel anytime, my friend. Did you guys watch that? Let me know in the comments if you guys watched it. I haven't seen all of it, but we were having a slight discussion in our Discord for the Juju Gang members. Let me know your thoughts as well. So I see a lot of people saying yes. Throw your thoughts in the chat, what you guys thought about it. And so generally speaking, and of course, Ken is still long Tesla and still believes in Tesla's mission, but he's saying, he thinks, and someone let me know if I'm putting words in his mouth, hopefully not, that he thinks that Tesla is still yet to revisit $420 a share. And that's where he'd kind of look, to start buying back in with his, itchy fingers. Right. So, and his whole thesis is around oil, and the cost of oil essentially being inflationary across the market, lowering earnings, bringing us into a recession, so on and so forth. Nick says, watch the whole thing. Awesome. So I'll probably watch the entire thing this weekend. Didn't have enough time. I watched little bits and pieces here from what was shared in the Discord. JC says, where's Tom Nash's invite? Tom Nash, hey, Tom was on the channel. Actually, if you haven't watched that interview, go check it out on the channel. Just, what was the title? I don't even remember. Just search Tom Nash, of course. You should find it. Tom's been on the channel. Tom's a friend of the channel, of course. You see him in the comments as well. Ken hasn't been on this channel. I've thrown an invite to him, but I think he's kind of trying to lay low. Marco says he's made me think more long term. Well, I mean, you have to. And actually, this is kind of a good segue into Ron Barron. So let's see hold on. Let me just read a couple comments about Ken's interview that you guys are thinking. Iceman says, Chicken is scared. He made me, someone saying he made me think more long term. Sold all my stocks today because of Ken. Oh, okay. Wow. Marcus says, my thoughts on Chicken Genius. Is Chicken genuine? Yeah, I think Ken's awesome. Flexi says, Chicken Genius says Q2 will be very bad for Tesla. Mark Adler says he's not long Tesla. His long-term shares are hedged with synthetic puts, so basically has no position. I don't know about that second part. I'll have to watch the video in more in depth. But to my knowledge, he does have long-term. But I'm not sure if it's entirely hedged. I guess no one really knows. But even if that, I think his thoughts are still worth worth considering. Here's my thoughts. Q2 might be bad. I think we know that Q2 might be bad, but the question is what's priced in and what isn't. That's really the question. Because yes, I mean, Q2 might be bad, inflationary pressure, Shanghai was shut down, so a disproportionate amount of margin comes from Shanghai, let's say. But also, I mean, we don't know how much Fremont is going to step it up this quarter because Fremont has a lot of performance cars being sold this year, a lot more than last year. So the mix is for higher ASPs, so higher margin. But I mean, the question isn't really like what's about to occur, because I think big money's already priced what they can in. The question is what's going to happen that is going to change expectations is really it. That's really the question here. So I don't know. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. And so here's the thing. I mean, look, so I just did some quick math on this. Okay. So bear with me here. So $420, if that's what Ken's saying, let me just draw a trend line here. So from 650 to 420 is 420 right there. So it's about a 35% drawdown from current levels, 35-ish percent. A 35-ish percent, let's round up 36%. 36%. So that's about an 18% if you use a beta of 2 for the NASDAQ, an 18% drawdown in the NASDAQ. So if you pull up the NASDAQ, at least the ETF, and we draw a trend line down, an 18% drawdown into the NASDAQ would be right around here, $224-ish on the Qs, 224. Actually, that actually coincides pretty much with the 300-week moving average. That's kind of interesting. It's actually almost on the dot. So I'm not sure if that thesis is following, the index is falling to that level. Maybe it is, but it does seem like that would coincide one for one with that 36% drawdown in Tesla if his $420 price target is to happen. At $420 though, I mean, Tesla, let's say Tesla does $12 EPS this year. I'm not even sure what they're on track to do with Shanghai. I guess we'll find out. But $12, let me just pull up my calculator. $12 EPS, $420 a share. That's about a 35 current PE if that prints, if $12 prints. That's crazy. I don't know. For a company that's growing revenues well over 50%, earnings per share well over 50%, I don't know. I guess the market is crazy. And you know what? This puts us back into our Ron Barron talk. So let's talk about Ron Barron, because he is talking about lifetime buying opportunities here. Xander, how's it going? So good to see you. Hang in there with the GG gang. Absolutely. Steve, how's it going? Am I hedging? No, I'm not really hedging, to be honest. I'm just kind of DCAing. I'm tired of paying for premium, and with covered calls, I don't have. Oh, hold on, pull up the wrong one. I haven't been doing much covered calls stuff either. I'm just kind of DCAing for now and kind of seeing where the chips may fall. But I found this Ron Barron clip, or this Ron Barron statement, to be quite interesting here. So appreciate Tesla Hype says, smash that like button. Appreciate that, Tesla Hype, my friend. Okay. So let's listen to this Ron Barron CNBC clip today.
We heard from billionaire investor Ron Barron early this morning, and he has a message for CNBC viewers. He wrote an email to Joe and I in which he writes, "This is a huge once-in-a-generation buying opportunity, huge, monstrous opportunity following June 2022, June 2020 as well crash." He told us about how he was talking to his sons who've been in the investment business for about 20 years now, and he suggests that they now have the same opportunity he had when he founded Barron Capital back on March 16th of 1982. That's when the Dow Jones Industrial Average was at 880. Yes,
He's saying, Ron Barron, I'm not sure if you heard that. Hopefully the audio's okay. Ron Barron's saying that people today that can DCA or buy into good companies today, he's saying, have the same opportunity he had in 1982. Wow.
Crying today about it falling below 30,000 for the first time since January of 2021. But yes, back then it was 880. And there was no progress in Margaret.
16 years. In 1969, it hit 1,000 for the first time. And it wasn't until 1982 that it hit 1,000 again, or 83. And kind of interesting, some of the same reasons why. And the scariest thing was like 1974, when stocks were all single digits. The Nifty 50 had fallen to single digits. And you keep going. He points out over the last 22 years, we've doubled. Do the rule of 72. And that's what is that? That's a paltry return.
Far less than
He said, yeah. You want,
go ahead.
No, you go. Barron says that he sees the opportunity now, especially because of his investment in what he calls incredible growth companies like Tesla and SpaceX. But he points out that think of what's happened in the past 22 years. If you want to start with the iPhone, start with sequencing the human genome and rational drug design and all the things that have happened and all these quantum leaps in Amazon, lowering the cost and the transparency of pricing on the internet and Walmart and all these incredible things have happened. What we've doubled in 22 years. So his point is the market could be spring loaded if you have a long-term perspective. And
First of all, that's kind of, I mean, the first caveat to that is you have to have a long-term time horizon, because who knows? I mean, anyone can say anything. No one really knows what's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months with all the recession fears and input costs going up and interest rates and the housing market and all this sort of stuff, right? But of course, it kind of does give me solace hearing someone, as experienced as Ron Barron saying, listen, you have the same opportunity today, lifetime generational buying opportunity in good companies that I did when I was starting off. And of course, not at an absolute level because, everything's relative, but I'm sure he's probably inferring at an earnings per share level, at a level where we're talking about yields into good companies. It's just, the first caveat there is you have enough time horizon, right? That's why in the last couple months, actually more than that now, I've been saying on this channel repeatedly, I'm not really doing option stuff at the moment. Even a little bit stuff, but really nothing major, because I think we're in for kind of no man's land. Who knows? And we could rally. Hopefully we do massively. But it just seems like it's kind of no man's land for a little bit until we get some clarity what's happening with inflation. Are rates going to continually be this high? So on and so forth. And the housing market, which I think everyone wants to talk about. So I guess we'll see. But here, okay, let me know if I'm wrong in this thinking or if you disagree with us. If Tesla does go to $420, like Ken is saying, let me just, I don't want to get this wrong. That's $2,100 pre-split. $2,100 pre-split. If you were to tell me that almost, you could, I don't know if you want to call this a black swan event, what's gone on, but it's close to that. China shutdowns, a war, inflation being so rampant, hugely, huge interest rate hikes. You kind of name something, it's happened in the last 6 months. And you were to tell me, even at $2,100 pre-split, Tesla would still hold that. And again, remember, Tesla fundamentals are still strong. Tesla raised prices in China last night. I don't know. That's called a stress test to me. And $2,100. It's not as low as a lot of people that hate on Tesla want to think about. So, Mimi says, imagine what will happen in the next 22 years. Oh yeah, 22. I think till 2030 even, right? So that's kind of where we're at. Let's finish off this video.
And as I said, we're certainly not cheerleading because most people think that we have a way to go.
Right. This is not saying that if you put this money in,
Right.
it's going to come back and quickly make returns. This is about looking at things over a very long perspective. And that long haul, if you have the patience, if you are taking money that you're not leveraging, the money that you don't need to pay your bills today, right. That's important to find some of that cash and set it aside. And that's how you have the time horizon to actually watch compound interest build up.
We have highlighted the...
Check out this guy in the back. He's trying to get in a selfie with her.
The risks that still are present for this.
This is in New York, right? That's a dumb question. Is this on Wall Street, right by Wall Street? I don't even know where their headquarters is.
Market with Katie Stockton and the VIX, crappy VIX is still only 30. Even after yesterday, I think it's at 32. And people think you need 40 before you make a real bottom. So we're not taking either side, but long
term. It's not going to be if you're day trading. That's not what this is about. This is being a long-term investor, realizing that if it's sitting in cash, sitting in a bank account where you're not getting returns, you are losing value. And this is something that Ron Barron's been very consistent on over the years, just the idea that you can't let your money sit in cash. Your spending power dwindles away.
Well, if you were a young Ron Barron right now, and if it went from 880 to 30,000, figure out where we are now at 20,000, 29,000. The number would be up in the hundreds of thousands, theoretically, if it really is the same type of opportunity.
Yeah, he said crappy VIX because he's trying to say, okay, if VIX hits $40. That means we're actually at the bottom. But, I think that's kind of short-term thinking there. I guess it is in New York City. Thanks for clarifying. It seems like Times Square. We're getting a rally here to end the day. Don't worry. So we'll do our Tesla closing price guessing game in about 20 minutes. So stay tuned for that. I've got a couple segments though. Here. Let's see here. Let me just see. I got some segments pulled up. Okay. So I asked for feedback on Twitter about an overrated, underrated segment. Okay. And so we're going to do overrated, underrated. I'm going to give you the topic and you tell me if it's overrated or underrated. And you can explain if you want to, or you can just put down over or under. Okay. So first topic, overrated or underrated? Tesla semi-truck. Tesla semi-truck. Now, my thoughts around the semi-truck is, I guess I don't want to bias the water before you guys answer a little bit, but the semi-truck, I think, is hugely important to logistics, to transportation, long hauling. I mean, we talk about convoys of trucks. Like this, for me, okay, it seems like the general consensus is already in before I said anything. Underrated is the majority of the answers coming in here. Boyle says fairly rated. That's fair enough. No pun intended. Underrated. Okay, now I'm going to say underrated, but I'm going to throw a caveat out. I'm going to say it's underrated, but man, what happened to those semi trucks that were supposed to be delivered to PepsiCo in January? It was December, right? When was that? And I did see a piece of news the other day. Sawyer Merritt tweeted out that the mega chargers are finally like being installed in Frito-Lay or whatever. So I guess it's like slowly but surely getting there. But man, that was supposed to happen a long time ago. So I guess we get there. But okay, mostly everyone's saying underrated. Under, definitely under. Gio says underrated, especially when they mass produce it. Well, that's kind of the catch-22 here is when is that going to happen? Laurie says with gas prices a no-brainer. Absolutely. Yes, it needs to get ramping. Absolutely. Huge potential, but we need results. Yeah, that's kind of the general consensus with a lot of things. Also the Cybertruck, right? Let's see here. Yeah, Boyle says the caveat is that they're not producing these things yet. Well, I think they delivered a couple of them. By the way, 651 sitting on Tesla. I think they delivered a couple of them, but I think, nothing in mass. And of course, they're going to need 4680 cells, right? So there's that. Sean says way too much hype. Okay, so you're calling the over on that. Fair enough. But the general consensus here seems like they're underrated for the majority of people. What are you guys saying about Dave? Is Dave camping? I think Dave's in the RV or RVing, I think. Well, the autonomous semi, I mean, I don't even have to get into the autonomy part of that. I mean, truck drivers have some of the hardest jobs that I think are super underappreciated by a large amount of the average citizens out there. Trucker jobs are not easy. It's a lot of being away from family. It's a lot of just alone time. It's a lot of hard work. And I mean, you need a good amount of skill to be a trucker. I mean, I think it's underappreciated. So shout out to all the truckers out there. Okay, let's move on to our next one. So please eat more juju, says Paco. All right, just for that, I'll have a slice. Okay. Second over underrated topic of the day. Opening up Supercharger network to non-Tesla EVs. Overrated or underrated? And I'll kind of give you the angle that I'm thinking about this from. I forget who suggested this on Twitter. So part of me loves the idea that Tesla can use its network as kind of like an open source gas station. By the way, folks, we're rallying on this segment. Overrated, underrated. 652 sitting on Tesla. I have to keep this going. Here's my angle on this. I love the idea. Whoa, folks, Juju. Who's in the Juju right now? I think we're about to break VWAP. Okay, well, like that's exciting nowadays. I love the idea that Tesla can open up their network to other EV manufacturers that might be slow on actually getting their charging networks out there. Electrify America sucks. I mean, sorry, I had to say it. Electrify America, I've looked at Electrify Canada, I've looked at their map, and it's like, I got to drive like an hour to get their charger. It's stupid, right? Tesla, nothing beats the Tesla network today. But I hate the fact that as a Tesla owner, I have to now compete with even more EVs. And it's not here in North America yet, but it is in Europe. Okay, so let's see what you guys have to say. Under. That's a no-no, says Nick. Under exposure to Tesla experience, says Digital. Okay, that's a fair argument. You do get exposure to the Tesla network and the Tesla app and all this sort of stuff. Fair enough. Underrated. Man, all you guys are saying under. I'm guessing the people that are saying overrated are the ones that have to wait in line for the supercharging sometimes. Under. Iceman says hate it. Underrated for overall EV adoption. That's the thing that I toy with, is like, I love the fact that 653 is sitting on Tesla, by the way. I love the fact that we can open it up and get exposure, but man, like in the summertime, I don't want to be waiting like an hour for the supercharging network on big road trips or something like that. Hadouken says underrated to get more adoption of EVs and the more competition is better. That I agree with. I just want to make sure we're not shooting Tesla customers in the foot here. Under competition recharge sucks, monetize their weakness. Sean says, I don't like the idea. I need my supercharger. Well, there you go. Underrated. Okay, wow. So this is mostly underrated. You guys are saying opening up the Tesla supercharging network to other EVs out there or other EV companies out there is underrated. Interesting. I was gonna say the majority of people might say overrated on this, but I guess I'm on the opposite side here. Bill says over. Tribalism will prevent widespread use. Well, first of all, I think opening it up probably is, brownie points with government regulation. But also, I mean, tribalism only goes so far. When you're at 1% battery on your Hyundai Ioniq and all of a sudden you need a charge and the only thing around is a Tesla supercharger, I don't think you're going to care too much. Brian says Tesla should open up, but only with high fees. That's a good idea. If you make it so much of a premium cost where you're going to tamper any sort of demand anyways, I think that makes sense. Interesting. Okay, so 653 sitting on Tesla. Folks, we're rallying on this segment. Looks like you guys like this segment. Under, it says electric. Yeah, there's not a lot of competition. Jan says, in Sweden, alcohol and liquor companies are exclusively sold in state-run monopoly stores, like here in BC. Right now, several stores have empty shelves because distributors cannot find enough truck drivers. Yeah, I mean, it's a big problem. Scooter has good points. Scooter says, as long as they keep building out the network. That's a big one. And I think they are massively so. Ganeshan says, Yashu, what software are you using so we can learn when you analyze? This is Weeble. Okay. Awesome. Good. Hey, good opinions here, folks. Okay, let's move on to our third one. But I feel like this is just going to be an easy answer. Hold on. Let me just pull up my Twitter and see if there's any other. Let's see here. You can throw your ideas in the chat as well. I'm just going to see. I was going to say, I won't even say it. Hold on. I'm just going to say which one I want before I blurt it out here. Overrated, underrated. Just check my Twitter. Okay, I'll just say it. It's good. I'll just say it. I kind of already had my thoughts around it. Overrated, underrated, Tesla insurance. Scooter beat me to it. Tesla insurance. I feel like I already know what. Well, I mean, let me know. I don't want to say overrated, underrated, Tesla insurance, and throw with your answer if you can some sort of an explanation. I'll try to read some of these guys out. Okay. So Tesla insurance. Last night, I think Swear quote tweeted one because Tesla insurance just opened up. Is it in Nevada? Nevada, right? So last night, Tesla insurance opened up in Nevada. And someone, again, every time it opens up in a new state, there's people tweeting out saying, look, I just signed up in like 90 seconds and I'm saving like 50% on my insurance. It's just crazy. I think Tesla insurance is huge. I think it's super underrated. And it seems like you guys agree with this. Paul says under, depending on how much of a surplus we capture and give back to consumers. Well, there's that aspect to it. And I think that's very astute of you, Paul. And then there's also the aspect of insurance can be cheap, but insurance insurance claiming and insurance customer service needs to be on par. So I'll give you an example. There's some insurance companies that used to operate here that would make it very cheap to get third-party insurance optional in your car. We're going down on the insurance over underrated segment here. 651 sitting on Tesla. And so they made it very cheap. But the problem was in 2 or 3 years' time, the amount of people that had claims that needed help, but if people wouldn't pick up the phone, they were getting passed around from agent to agent. They were wrongfully denied. That aspect of it also has to match the price aspect of it. So price is one, but in the long haul, if you can't service your claims, and if you can't provide great customer service, the price can be whatever it is. Consumers will not want to choose that, right? So right now, the price aspect of it makes sense. And of course, Tesla can properly risk profile a large majority of their drivers to figure out who's good, who's not. What sort of premium should we charge this person? Does this person run red lights often, run stop signs, speed in a school zone, so on and so forth? So I'm super under on the insurance aspect today, but I need to see continual action and good claim service in the future, I think. So let's read out some. Can be huge, makes people drive safer as well. Yes, that's absolutely true. No dealers and agents, that's a big one as well. Underrated dynamic driving habits monitored by Tesla can lower the rates. They can also weed out bad drivers. Yes, absolutely. Tesla Hype says real-time vehicle data is a big game changer. Yes. And there's people that try to have like these apps and stuff and try to put it, but like having actual car data is second to none, right? Underrated, Royce says, but not priced in the stock yet. Nick says insurance is boring. For the most part, I agree. I agree with that. Okay, so Jan says overrated. It can only be a matter of time until the competition gets a better handle on how to price EV insurance. I think the angle here, the argument here against that, Jan, would be that Tesla has all of the vehicle data. And so they can properly risk profile to the T, whereas other EV manufacturers that don't have over-the-air updates or as specific vehicle data or driver data in-cabin cameras that, capture you on your phone, so on and so forth, you can't. Matt, how's it going? Friend of the channel, Matt Smith from Good Soil says, overrated by bulls, not even contemplated by the broader market. I think Tesla will run this close to break even and will improve user experience, but not Tesla financial results. This is a great point. I've also said this with respect to scaling, I think. So let's say Tesla one day is selling 10 million cars, right? Don't know when that is, but let's say they're in a position where they're selling 10 million cars. To grow from 10 million to 20 million, huge discrepancy. It's a totally different strategy than from Tesla, of course, scaling from 100,000 cars like they have to a million cars. Different strategy to 10x or to 2x from 10 million to 20 million. And I think that's where insurance can really, come in handy. Let's say you're buying a car, you're in the car market. If you buy an XYZ legacy EV, you're going to have to pay you're going to have these options for insurance underwriters versus if you buy a Tesla, maybe you pay a premium for it, but you save $200 a month or $150 a month on your insurance versus buying a non-Tesla EV. And so that's almost like an inherent subsidy, so to speak, of buying a Tesla, is that you get this cheap insurance with it. And again, maybe I'm talking from my lens because insurance here is like godly expensive. I pay about $250 a month in insurance to drive, like not often. So it's expensive to insure cars. At least it is here. Maybe in the States it's different. Let's see. Tesla Comics says, very underrated. Tesla will continue to collect premium as they continue to triple down on software and FSD, and the cars get safer and safer. It'll be a huge cash flowing business once the safer Teslas get. Boyle says, under, because they don't have to insure crappy cars, only Teslas. Hey, you know what? Didn't someone, I think you can actually get Tesla insurance in some states for non-Teslas. Am I wrong on that? Someone let me know. Sanji says, would it be better for Tesla on their configurator to show a breakdown how much is apportioned towards supercharging network that may combat the impression that the vehicles are overpriced. Yeah, I mean, interesting. I think Tesla's in a position right now where they're selling like pancakes on their pre-orders for the wait list, and they don't even care to actually have to do that, to be honest. We're talking about optimizing sales pages for a company that has no problem in sales at the moment. So I don't want to say complacency, but I just don't think it's needed almost right now. Not citrus. Not the citrus hat. Yeah, this is not the citrus hat. Maybe I should put on maybe we'll rally. You guys think we're rally if I put on the Juju bucket hat? Get your own Juju merch at nicejuju.com. Link in the description. I look stupid, but what else is new? Hold on, let me just shrink myself down here. Okay. Hope you're having a great Friday, folks. 12:37 and 23 minutes to close. 6:51 sitting on Tesla. Awesome. Okay. Matt Smith says, agree, actually, though I hope I'm wrong. My sense that it helps boost demand and will be good in incentivizing safe driving and robotaxis. Okay, well, the robotaxis part, and I saw a couple comments, I forgot to mention it. That's a great aspect of this, right? When FSD is live, a lot of underwriters can single-handedly say, no, we're not underwriting Tesla robotaxis, not letting it happen, so on and so forth. And that almost has like a veto on Tesla robotaxis. Tesla having a Tesla insurance is them probably forward-looking to FSDs and robotaxis and saying, look, we're not beholden to anyone for underwriting on this. We can risk profile this and we can back it ourselves. So I think that's huge. Yeah. Mimi says, could you let another insurance company get data from your Tesla? Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I think the only way is like, I'm going to break my phone. The only way is like if you had your phone in your car and you just have it on. That's kind of, by the way, check out this phone case. Almost Juju overload today, but you can get your nice little, wow, I plugged something for once without having to be reminded of it. Get your phone case at nicejuju.com. You can't without an app. I think Tesla kind of has monopoly over that data for that sense. The Tesla App Store. Nick, don't get me too excited with the Tesla App Store. You guys know every time I talk about the Tesla App Store, I get a little bit too excited with it. Okay. Hadouken says, yeah, actually, we're the Juju bucket hat at, well, maybe this is an old comment, but it's here. I got it on. Buy yours at nicejuju.com. Okay. I need to send one of those to LL Cool J. Okay, let's try to rally, folks. 652.50 sitting on Tesla. Chadwick, how's it going, my friend? Damien says, should Tesla limit orders to FSD only instead of the next price hike? I think that kind of sours a lot of buyers when you say like you have to buy FSD to get faster delivery. I think that's kind of what the sentiment was from the last one. You know what? As of recording this, Tesla hasn't increased their FSD pricing, but I think it's probably coming in the next month. That's my guess. Not that I have any knowledge or anything, but I just feel like it's coming. Tesla's increased prices in North America, China. They're doing some sort of shenanigans with enhanced autopilot in New Zealand, Australia. It just feels like FSD is next for a price hike. Okay, so the Tesla App Store gets me hyped because, you talk about even like little things like carpooling. Think about carpooling in an FSD in a Tesla with an inbuilt App Store. Think about ways that you can monetize your apps. Here's a cool idea I had for the Tesla App Store. Let me know if you have any cool ideas for the Tesla App Store in the comments. Here's one stupid idea that I had. You guys remember? Okay, so one big problem for a lot of people that work like 9-to-5 jobs or shift work is that, and this is such a niche problem. We're talking about SpaceX, we're talking about EVs. Now I'm going to talk into something so minute, but a lot of problems sometimes a lot of shift workers have, and there was a startup based off of this, is that they can't get their packages delivered to them at their apartments or houses because they can't leave them outside and they can't go pick them up at a local parcel thing because of hours or whatever. So there was a startup started, I think 3 or 4 years ago, even pizza delivery, where you would leave your trunk open for your car, and then they would put your package in your car, and so you can, when you're done work, it's already in your car. And again, this is a startup. I don't even know what the history of the startup is. Again, this sounds kind of stupid, but bear with me. Stupid idea, could you not have some sort of a delivery service where you get Teslas to deliver things by opening your trunk for a one-time basis aspect, deliver packages. You can drive them around if the car already knows where your work is. And, you talk about logistics and kind of last mile delivery. It's almost like a way that you can monetize your driving by driving around. Again, stupid pie in the sky, but of course, that's where my mind goes because I am dumb. So, all right, 18 minutes to close here. Dan, nicely saying, close your options for a 3-day long weekend. Absolutely right, my friend. Thank you for reminding me. SLPC. Yeah, exactly. Hadouken says it was called Card Drops. Card Drops. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Hadouken. Yes, there you go. It's little things like that. I mean, here's the thing. When the iPhone was made, no one thought social media would be what it's at. When the iPhone was made, no one thought texting, encrypted messaging. Like, you have to open up the App Store to let entrepreneurs build on your platform, and entrepreneurs can run with these wild ideas, and kind of from derivatives of derivatives, you'll kind of get to places where you never thought before. Okay. So, should we do our Tesla closing price guessing game now? Shall we do it? Let's do it. Okay, Tesla closing price guessing game. Leave your Tesla best guess in the chat. Remember, Price is Right rules, meaning if you're over even by a penny, you can't win. But throw your guess in the chat. I'm going to guess early on today because I don't want a competitive advantage. Not that I have one, but I probably should need one. So we're sitting at $650 pretty much on the dot right now. Volume weighted moving average is 650.51. I'm going to say, and by the way, low of day today is 639. High of day is 662. Where are we going to close? I'm going to say we close 650 on the dot. That's my guess. 650 on the dot. Someone says, check out options order flow. We'll do that in a second here, and we'll have another video piled up as well. Awesome. Remember, one guess? Alrighty. Okay, throw out your guesses. It seems like mostly everyone's kind of range bound today with your guesses. There's no wild guesses today, which is, I guess, is good. Digital says, I think info will be pretty big. Not autonomy or Optimus big, but a Tesla can survey the area and track where it goes most. A food shop would love to know how many hungry people pass by every day. Stuff like that. You talk about data and selling that data. Now we're talking big tech all of a sudden. Right? Okay. Throw your guesses in the chat if you haven't already. Let's pull up Ron Barron part 2 here. So on CNBC, they did another segment. And Jim Cramer talks about Ron Barron's
big sell-off. Bunch of people weighing in today. Ron Barron among them, saying, "Is this an 82-like buying opportunity?"
Well, look,
And by the way, we'll check options order flow for Tesla. Towards the end of the day, we really get a good a sense of kind of where we're heading next week. But we got 50 minutes to close here, and so we'll take a look in right after this video.
Bought stocks in 82. I would say that the difference is that was Volcker taking rates up.
By the way, did you guys see Jim Cramer went bearish yesterday? I don't want to say that's a good sign, but that's probably a good sign.
Up so high, the market started rallying before the Volcker peak, which is 19% Fed funds rate. But David, when I look at what would possibly cause a bottom here,
yes,
believe it or not, I'm going to go back to what you said yesterday about the sell-off at 4 a.m.
Thanks for subscribing, by the way. I see people tuning in and coming in. Hopefully you guys can see your guys' name as you subscribe.
Okay. Because there were no buyers whatsoever. We took out every single level. And then let's go back to Adobe. Now, Adobe is very important because Shantanu Narayan's loved out west. And yet almost all the notes were negative about what he said, which he was somewhat optimistic in his outlook. And people said when he cut the outlook, which he didn't, by the way, he just said that there was currency issues, some issues involving seasonal weakness. But the scorn, the quiet scorn that people had for one of the great executives of our time, I think is very interesting because it just shows you people are fed up. But when are they fed up? when a stock goes down gigantically. It's like this morning, David, we got a downgrade at Toll Brothers. The stock was down 45% before they even come in.
On the Mad Dash.
Yeah, but that's what, that's how you get a bottom when you finally get these analysts. Now, I mean, Adobe, it's 699, where it was November 21st, which is the top of the market. Everybody loved it. So now it's 365 and everyone's skeptical.
Looking down $20.
Yeah. Now they don't like it. It's 600. It's 700. They loved it. So they had to wait till it went down 50%.
Well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of people literally wait for the tops of the markets to want to buy back in. Of course, we know that. Now, what Jim Cramer right there, by the way, said that I think is important or pertinent to us, let's say talking about Tesla, is he said you can't really find the bottom unless, first of all, stocks retreat, number one, but earnings expectations come back down to earth. And so as soon as you kind of see that, and that's kind of what we've seen with Tesla as a re-rating of earnings this year and kind of price targets coming back down, that's when you start to catch kind of the bottom. And Dan Ives kind of said the same thing when he was on the channel. So I don't know if he's talking too much about Tesla. Let's see.
The seventh time in 8 quarters that Adobe has fallen on earnings.
Screw Adobe, I don't care.
They didn't cut price targets and they didn't downgrade.
Sorry if you're an Adobe fan. I just don't care about Adobe.
When they had a chance, again, to use the Adobe because it's front and center.
What?
Because the
What's
price
the love with
were...
Adobe? Oh my God. Okay, we're moving on from Adobe. Let's talk about options flow. By the way, if you're Adobe stan, I apologize. Let's talk about options order flow. Let's see what we got going on in the options market for Tesla. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk options order flow. Let's pull this up. By the way, this is TradyTix. You can get yourself in with the link in the description. Check it out. They got dark pool sentiment, which, by the way, we were talking on Discord yesterday. By the way, shout out to all Patreon and channel members in our Discord community. And Hyperreason was actually showing me, and I didn't actually see this, yesterday, dark pool sentiment for Tesla actually flipped positive. So for the first time in the month. So after a lot of consecutive days, we actually are now, for a cumulative net amount, $120 million in the positive for dark pool sentiment. And that's with a huge amount of dark pool buying yesterday. About $600 million worth of buying happening in the dark pool markets yesterday. So maybe this is a sign of a reversal or a bottom, but I guess we shall see. But let's pull up options order flow. Let's pull up Tesla here, and let's see what we got going on. Remember, in the last 15 minutes of the market, we usually get a pretty good sense as to what next week might hold. You guys might remember a couple weeks ago, we saw a massive amount of 650 puts being printed. Last Friday on live stream, we saw 580 strike, 590 and 600 strike puts coming in massively towards close. And we pretty much got that this week. So what was low of the week this week? Let me just check. Low of the week this week was 626. So it's interesting to see where we might land in the next 15 minutes. Let me just pull up it again. So, check this out. We just got 1,000 strike call buying for only about 40,000. Let's keep our filter at above. Let's do non-spreads and let's do short expiration. And let's just watch this as it comes in. So far, a lot of 650s, and these are expiring today, though. Remember, it is quadruple witching today. So four sets of options are expiring, and futures are expiring today. So we might see a lot of volatility, but so far, nothing. A lot for next week, but a lot for this week as well. So we'll keep an eye on this as we move forward. 649 sitting on Tesla. Hadouken says, can you go over dark pools and their significance? I have a video out on this. Maybe I'll link it in the chat here, where I talk about dark pools and I talk about options, call sweeps, and that sort of thing. Actually, I'll pull it up here. So this one here, what are call sweeps and dark pool trades and why do they matter? And it's a nice little Nancy Pelosi thumbnail there. Maybe you'll appreciate that. I'm going to link it in the chat if you guys are at all curious about that sort of stuff. Okay, I'll link it in the chat. Back to hit that. Oh man, look at my hair in that video. Jesus. Folks, what happened to my hair? I was looking fluffy. Okay. I'll throw it in the chat. Check it out later. Throw a little, what's it called? Throw in your like add to queue list or whatever it is. We'll see. All right. So I got a lot of guesses coming in here. I'm just gonna make sure that I don't lose these guesses. Or remember, if you don't have your guess in already, feel free to do so. Thanks for everyone subscribing. I see you guys saying we're close to 20K. We're close to 20K, not quite there yet, but maybe if you subscribe, we'll get there sooner rather than later. I appreciate everyone's support, though. What are we sitting at exactly for our subscriber count? Not that I'm sure you guys care, but let's pull this up. Analytics, real-time live count, boom. 19,361. Almost there. Thank you, Jill. Appreciate that. If you guys have your settings on, if you haven't subscribed already, you should pop up on the screen. So we'll see. It's almost there. All right, $650 sitting on Tesla. Pretty much at my guess here. Let's see if we can keep that going for the next 7 minutes. Harry says market makers would prefer to close above 650. But it seems like on the daily, at least, nothing really is relevant. For the weekly, whatever is relevant is probably our 100 week, and we're kind of far away from there. But if you look at the options flow, if you look at what's expiring this week, let me just pull that up. Pull this up here. Dukin says 19,000 citrus heads. Appreciate that. Appreciate the citrus head definition for me. I'll take it. I mean, I'm quite literally a citrus head right now. But if you look at max pain strikes, I don't really follow these too much. These are kind of garbage to me. I do like these are whale positioning timelines. Trading ticks is like almost too in depth for me. But where's the gamma? Why is the gamma not showing up here? Oh, sign me out. Hold on, let me just sign back in. Profile. There we go. Thanks for subscribing, Matt, Eddie. Appreciate y'all. By the way, if you want to join the best Discord in the game, some of the nicest, friendliest, most forward-looking people, feel free to subscribe on Patreon or channel membership over $5 a month. Gets you into our Discord if you're so inclined. Okay, so 651 sitting on Tesla. Steve says, maybe I'll sub. Not convinced. No problem, Steve. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to if you don't want to. Alrighty. Harry says 10,000. That's what I was looking for. 10,000 open put contracts at 650. So on the option summary, I'm trying to find that actually myself. So actually what's interesting with today is we saw, this is the volume and options open interest heat maps for Tesla right now. So 660 kind of seems like a massive amount for this week as well. There was a lot of 640 selling and rolling into 660s. I think 660 is almost probably what they want to run into at close. That's my guess. But again, these are kind of after hours as well matters for this. So maybe we run up until after hours. All right, 652 sitting on Tesla at the moment. Jeez, Pizza says, so if I wear a hat on a naked call options, then is half Monty. Well, someone called me the guy from Gilligan's Island the other week. So there's that. Boyle says, yeah, she said a few weeks ago you thought it felt too soon to be buying leaps, and you were proven right. How much longer would you wait to buy them? I mean, first of all, I hope everyone that is buying stuff, I hope Tesla rallies like 40, the market rallies 30% or something next week. I don't really know. Just my non-investment advice, kind of hesitant guess is that I think the market, and actually I tweeted this out. Let me pull that up. Maybe it might be a little bit easier. I tweeted out the market is waiting for a couple of things, in my opinion. And, hopefully I'm wrong here and the market doesn't care about what I have to say, but this is kind of what I thought. I said the market, and this I tweeted just a couple of days ago, the market's waiting for two things. One, to see if the Fed is making a policy mistake. So this was raising rates in a lowering consumer environment. So if you pull up the Fed GDP now forecast for quarter two, you'll see we're officially at 0% quarter two GDP growth. Not great. So, the market can't serve two masters in this respect. The market can't continually raise rates in a recessionary environment, but the market also needs to cool down inflation. And so that's kind of the problem. So I think the market is waiting to see if the Fed's making a policy mistake. I guess they'll find out when either inflation comes back down with CPI prints or PCE, and or we get away from consumer sentiment around a recession. And then number two is the lagging effects into the housing market and potential domino effect back into the equity market from it. So this is kind of a more of a recent thought that I've had around the lagging housing market. And of course, with rising interest rates, less and less people can get qualified and for less and less amounts. And of course, less bidders on properties on sale, more people trying to cash out. The question is, I'm not sold there's going to be a huge real estate crash like everyone thinks there is. I think even if there is a 15% correction in real estate, let's say 20%, I mean, real estate's run so much in the last little bit that it's, if you were just a first time buyer, then different conversation, but a lot of equity is already built into the mass market, I think. And so I think the market is also waiting to see, okay, we're raising rates this high. How does this affect into housing? And if housing is affected, how does that affect back into equity markets? So those are a couple of things that, and of course, it's not about finding the bottom because, I think that's kind of elusive and no one really knows when the bottom is going to be exactly. But that's kind of my thoughts around it at the moment. Could next week or could next month CPI come out amazingly and the housing market is still fine and all of a sudden the GDP now forecast shoots back up to positive territory and we get actually growth of GDP this quarter? Yeah, perhaps. But those are kind of my general and I've also said this, just selfishly, I'm kind of been busy with having to time stuff or look at premium decaying away from me. And so for the most part, I just made a strategic decision a couple months ago that I was staying away from mostly option stuff unless I'm doing YOLO lottos or something. Because I just don't have the time to manage at the moment. So just kind of that. Sanji, Mimi, appreciate that. There we go. Someone's calling me Gilligan. There we go. So, Sean. Brian says, I'm in real estate. It won't crash. I mean, everyone calls for real estate crashes. It's like the boy crying wolf, every so often. And I continue to believe, if you buy in good locations over the long haul, you'll be fine in real estate. You have to buy stuff that is in a good, again, location matters, of course, location, top 3 rules of real estate. But if you have a long enough time horizon, just like good companies, real estate will appreciate. So, of course, barring some sort of exogenous effect or something like that. All right, we just closed. There it is. Not enough juju for today. Here. 650.28 on the close. Actually, I was pretty close. I wasn't that far off. Let me see who won this contest. All right, let's check it out. So 650.28. Can someone verify if in fact that is the closing price? Sometimes Webull likes to change it on me. All right, Steve Hall guessed 650.18. And per Joe Olson, Johnson Olson, guessed 650.03. So you're pretty close, but I think the winner today, actually, let me just verify. Greg was pretty close at 650.05. Panya as well, pretty close as well. William was over at 650.90. Steve Hall, I think, takes the cake for today. Steve Hall, congratulations, my friend. Virtual Juju sending your way. You were about 10 cents off from closing price today. There it is. I win. Actually, I was close, but I guess on the dot. Oh man, I just had a terrible slice of orange. Oh, that was the worst slice of orange I've ever had on the stream. Oh man, that was like a rancid old orange slice I just ate. Oh, sorry for that. Yikes. Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining me on a I don't want to say a roller coaster week. It seems like it's been a roller coaster couple of months, but I appreciate every Friday you guys coming in, providing the good energy, the good juju, spending some time with me, Take off the hat now. Put on the Canucks hat. Spending some time with me on stream, having a good time to end your week. You guys could be anywhere on a Friday, walking around at the gym, at work, but you guys choose to come here and enjoy a stream with me. So I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Much love to everyone that supports the channel, subscribers, commenters, Patreon members, Discord members, channel members, all that sort of stuff. I appreciate y'all. Have a great, awesome weekend. And as I say every Friday on the stream, put your technology away. Remember, reminder, mental health is important. Put your technology away. Spend time with family. Happy early Father's Day weekend for a lot of people. And be well. And remember, do whatever you need to recoup and re-energize for next week. Hopefully next week is a lot better in many ways. And by the way, I did promise. Sorry if I almost missed this. I did promise I was going to give a synopsis of the options order flow so we can get a sense of next week. Okay, so a lot of puts being sold to close, a lot of calls being bought at ask, 715 strike, 700 strike, 710, 700 strike. All right, this is a lot more bullish than last week's close. My uneducated options guess is it seems like a lot of big money is betting we're going to pass $700 come next week. So take that with what we're at. Discount that how much you want. I appreciate that. Sean, my hip will get better. I'll continue to do my exercises. Much love. Take care. Follow me on Twitter if you want to at @HeyIt'sYashu. If you want my stupid updates on there as well. Take care, everyone. Peace out. Yashu signing off.